Netflix shares down, not far off 10%. The company, the streaming giant, says it will not be disclosing subscriber figures in its earnings report starting next year. Now, the company did come out with massive subscriber growth in its latest quarter, 9 million net new users. Our guest says Netflix has cracked the right formula for business growth and has already won the streaming wars. We're joined by Michael Pachter, Managing Director at Wedbush. You're ready to declare victory for Netflix. Disney won't be able to knock them off the pedestal, you don't think, for example?
Never. Disney, if they were to charge the same as Netflix is charging, would be half the size. So no chance. And honestly, I think Disney doesn't have the appetite to absorb the losses in order to catch Netflix. I think, Iger, fortunately for Disney shareholders, is going to age up and probably not be there in 5 years. So they're going to lose either before he leaves or shortly thereafter. But no chance.
And what about the big players like Apple and Amazon? I mean, they have enormous resources, but I guess they're not focused on streaming. I mean, it's not their core business.
Amazon is a subscription service for free delivery. So we don't sign up for Prime Video, and so they'll never stop, and that's fine. I mean, they'll continue to grow. Prime has as many users as Netflix has, so whether they watch video or not, I guess they've matched them in size. And they'll continue to spend on content because, as you're right, they have massive resources. Apple is really much smaller. They're not really all in yet, and they're much higher quality. So Apple's more of an HBO Max type model, fewer programs with very, very high quality. I don't know what Apple's going to do, but again, I don't think either of them is looking at being a standalone streaming service with 300 million users. Neither will be. They'll be a bolt-on service for Apple. You get free Apple TV Plus if you buy an iPhone. So obviously they're going to continue to grow that way. Amazon free delivery is the reason we belong to Prime.
You think that Netflix has finally struck that balance? I mean, for years they lost money. They were spending so much on programming to draw people in. But you think they finally globally got it right now, the mix?
I do. And I don't think that the content quality there is all that great. Some of the shows are phenomenal, but not all of it. Ripley is probably the best TV I've seen in 20 years. But they're good enough. So if the content's not good, it's good enough to occupy us for 65 hours a month. That's the average user's consumption.
Wow.
And the fact is, they're going to spend the same amount whether they have 270 million users or 500 million users. They can continue to spend steady state now because they've reached that level where they create enough content to keep people engaged.
You said the average user, something like 2 hours a day watching Netflix?
More than that, yeah. 65 is the average across all users. The ad-supported tier, they said 85% of users are more than 2 hours a day. So theoretically, they might even be watching more.
Did you say Ripley was your favorite from the Patricia Highsmith show?
Yeah, and it's obviously an Irish actor, so I have a soft spot for Irishmen. Andrew Scott was amazing. The show is great, and apparently she wrote 3 books about Ripley, so it looks like there's going to be more new seasons.
I'm loving the show, yeah. Although they don't get into his deranged interior monologue, only Patricia Highsmith in the novel could do that. But in any case, would you ever see Netflix taken over in some kind of a showbiz merger, or is it just too big now to do that?
Yeah, they'd be more the acquirer than the acquired. I mean, they're $250 billion. So,
yeah.
I'm surprised that they haven't gone after somebody like Lionsgate yet because they're cheap and they have a giant film library. They weren't a bidder for MGM when Amazon bought them. I was surprised. They haven't been in talks on Paramount. So I think Netflix is happy with its formula. Sure, at a price, perhaps someone would take them over, but I don't know that anybody really wants to be in the business that badly, and it would really just be a purchase for cash flow.
And Is Netflix Netflix has changed, obviously, the entertainment industry. It is wonderful. It's brought us TV series more easily that we never would have seen from around the world.
They have, and I think John Landgraf, who is the CEO of FX Networks, part of Disney, he has a very famous presentation he gives every year. The number of scripted series was 150 in the mid 2000s, and we're up to over 540 now per year. And that's just U.S., scripted television series. So a lot more content, and again, that means a lot more failures. The number of episodes per season is smaller, so maybe they've doubled the total amount of content, but that gives consumers tremendous choice, and that's really good for everybody. It's good. The only people that really lose are the linear broadcast networks, because we're not going to subscribe to cable if we get everything through subscription.